The Alchemy of Urgency. Mastering call to action in social change movements in an era where information overload drowns out meaningful engagement, crafting compelling calls to action has become both art and science. Activists seeking real-world impact face a paradox. Their messages are constantly competing against a digital deluge that numbs attention spans and dilutes urgency. This article explores how psychological principles can transform passive observers into active participants within social justice movements. We'll examine why traditional CTA strategies often fall flat when applied to radical causes, and uncover what truly resonates with those committed to systemic transformation. Understanding psychological triggers in movement-building social change activists requires CTAs that go beyond transactional persuasion techniques used by marketers. When mobilizing around issues like climate justice or racial equity, the goal is not merely conversion but awakening collective consciousness. Cognitive dissonance theory suggests people resist new ideas that contradict existing beliefs. Effective CTAs must navigate this resistance without alienating potential allies. They need to create cognitive bridges rather than cognitive barriers. Research shows that emotionally charged CTAs have higher conversion rates among activist audiences compared to neutral language. However, emotional appeals alone risk reducing complex social issues to simplistic narratives. Evidence-based framing. Ground CTAs in verifiable data points from credible sources increases perceived legitimacy. Moral clarity. Clearly define the ethical stakes involved in the cause makes abstract ideals tangible. Temporal immediacy. Emphasize time-sensitive actions creates artificial deadlines that trigger response mechanisms. Activist CTAs must balance emotional resonance with intellectual rigor. This dual approach prevents oversimplification while maintaining motivational force. It's about creating cognitive dissonance in favor of the movement's values. A study published in the Journal of Social Issues found that CTAs combining moral imperatives with concrete steps had 68% greater effectiveness in recruiting volunteers for grassroots campaigns. Bridging the intent-action gap. One of the most persistent challenges in activism is converting intention into action. People may strongly support a cause yet fail to participate due to perceived barriers or lack of clear pathways. CTAs must address these gaps explicitly. Providing step-by-step guidance reduces decision fatigue and lowers participation thresholds. Simple instructions make complex processes feel manageable. Psychological reactance theory warns against overbearing CTAs that pressure individuals into compliance. Instead, empowering language that invites collaboration tends to produce better results. For example, using "join us in" instead of "you must do X" transforms obligation into invitation. This subtle shift aligns with self-determination theory, which emphasizes autonomy as key motivator. Effective CTAs should include both the why behind the action and the how to take it. This two-pronged approach satisfies both intrinsic motivation and practical needs simultaneously. Case study: Climate strikes and youth mobilization. Greta Thunberg's Fridays for Future movement demonstrates powerful CTA execution. Their core message combined dire climate projections with accessible call to join strikes worldwide. Data from global climate strike reports show a 300% increase in youth participation after incorporating clearer directives. Before and after comparisons revealed that vague slogans yielded only 12% engagement. The movement's success stemmed from its ability to convert existential fear into constructive action. By making participation simple through online registration systems, they removed common obstacles. This case illustrates the importance of actionable CTAs in modern activism. Vague statements about saving the planet mean little without concrete opportunities to contribute meaningfully. Designing multi-layered calls to action. Successful social change initiatives use layered CTAs that build upon each other. These are strategically placed at different stages of awareness and commitment levels. Initial CTAs might focus on raising awareness, followed by invitations to learn more, then direct calls to engage in specific actions. This progression mirrors the journey from spectator to participant. Each layer should escalate responsibility gradually, allowing individuals to find their comfort zone within the movement. This approach respects personal boundaries while encouraging deeper involvement. For instance, a campaign could start with sharing information, move to signing petitions, then progress to attending events, and finally to leadership roles. This tiered structure accommodates varying degrees of engagement. Studies indicate that multi-layered approaches yield sustained participation rates up to 3 times higher than single-action CTAs. This suggests that movement building requires patience and strategic sequencing. Leveraging storytelling in CTA's narrative transportation theory explains how stories can immerse people in alternative realities. In activism, this means transforming dry facts into relatable human experiences. Story-driven CTAs tap into empathy by putting faces to statistics. A person affected by police brutality becomes more impactful than raw numbers ever would. When constructing such narratives, including a clear call to action within the story itself enhances effectiveness. The tale shouldn't end at emotion, it should lead naturally to engagement. Research from Stanford University shows that storytelling combined with CTAs produces memory retention rates 40% higher than fact-based presentations alone. However, caution is needed to avoid reducing complex issues to individual tragedies. Stories should represent broader patterns without losing nuance. The key lies in finding the right balance between personal narrative and systemic critique. Effective CTAs tell stories that inspire action without oversimplifying intricate societal problems. Creating urgency without panic. Urgent CTAs capitalize on our innate response to deadlines and limited resources. But effective activists know that manufactured urgency must be grounded in reality to maintain credibility. Climate scientists warn of tipping points, civil rights advocates highlight window periods for legislation, and educators emphasize critical junctures in policy debates. These legitimate timelines provide authentic urgency. Fabricated deadlines risk damaging trust when revealed as false. Authentic urgency based on expert analysis builds lasting credibility that transcends temporary tactics. When presenting urgent CTAs, it's crucial to explain the rationale clearly. Transparency turns skepticism into informed action rather than coerced compliance. Examples include voting deadlines tied to election calendars, protest dates aligned with legislative schedules, or donation windows matching funding cycles. All these relate to actual event timelines. Effectively communicated urgency doesn't induce panic but rather empowers people to act within established frameworks. This distinguishes genuine activism from manipulative tactics. Building community through CTAs. Strong CTAs don't just ask for actions, they invite people into communities that share common goals. Social identity theory shows that belonging influences behavior profoundly. By framing CTAs as invitations to join collectives, activists leverage the power of group affiliation. Participation becomes less about individual effort and more about communal purpose. Community-building CTAs often include elements like shared rituals, recurring events, or mutual accountability structures. These features reinforce long-term commitment. Local chapters of national movements exemplify this principle. Joining a neighborhood chapter provides both local impact and connection to larger networks. These community-oriented CTAs create sustainable engagement models that outlast single-issue campaigns. They foster intergenerational knowledge transfer and institutional continuity. Overcoming resistance through empowerment. Resistance to activism often stems from feelings of helplessness or fear of reprisal. Effective CTAs counteract this by emphasizing empowerment and agency. Language that focuses on the positive outcomes of participation helps overcome inertia. Highlighting past successes reinforces belief in possible future achievements. Empowering CTAs also acknowledge the difficulty of the task while celebrating small victories along the way. This maintains momentum without overwhelming participants. Testimonials from fellow activists serve as proof that transformative change is achievable. Personal stories of growth and impact resonate deeply with potential recruits. Such CTAs create safe spaces for gradual entry into activism. They recognize that everyone starts somewhere and celebrate incremental progress toward larger objectives. Adapting CTAs to different audiences. No single CTA works universally across diverse populations. Understanding cultural contexts, generational differences, and intersectional identities informs tailored messaging. Youth-focused CTAs might emphasize digital engagement, while older generations respond better to letter-writing campaigns or town hall meetings. Tailoring methods to demographics increases efficacy. Intersectionality demands CTAs that speak to overlapping oppressions. A Black woman facing racism and sexism needs a different kind of encouragement than someone experiencing only one form of marginalization. Culturally responsive CTAs consider linguistic preferences, communication styles, and historical sensitivities. What resonates with urban activists differs significantly from rural communities. Using inclusive language and representation in media materials strengthens CTAs across demographic lines. Feeling seen and understood increases likelihood of engagement. Harnessing technology for modern CTAs. Digital tools offer unprecedented opportunities for reaching and activating audiences. From mobile apps to virtual reality experiences, technology expands the scope of possible CTAs. Social media platforms enable rapid dissemination of CTAs to global audiences. Hashtags, viral videos, and interactive posts turn casual browsers into active participants overnight. Virtual reality simulations allow users to experience marginalized perspectives firsthand. Such immersive CTAs create visceral understanding that text cannot convey. Data analytics help track CTA effectiveness across various channels. Measuring click-through rates, volunteer sign-ups, and event attendance refines future outreach efforts. Online fundraising platforms simplify financial contributions, making monetary CTAs more accessible than ever before. Cryptocurrency donations even open new avenues for international solidarity. Evaluating and refining your CTAs. No CTA remains perfect forever. Continuous evaluation ensures messages stay relevant and effective in changing circumstances. Tracking metrics like conversion rates, engagement levels, and follower growth provides quantitative feedback on performance. Qualitative assessments gather deeper insights into audience reception. Regular A/B testing compares different phrasings, formats, and delivery methods to identify optimal combinations. This iterative process improves overall effectiveness over time. Feedback loops involving direct contact with recipients reveal unmet expectations and areas needing improvement. Listening to the community ensures CTAs remain aligned with actual needs. Revisiting CTAs periodically allows adaptation to new political landscapes, technological advances, and evolving public sentiment. Flexibility keeps activism dynamic and responsive. Ultimately, successful CTAs combine empirical evidence with creative expression. They evolve alongside the movement they seek to empower, never becoming static formulas but living instruments of change. Conclusion: mastering the alchemy of urgency requires more than clever wording. It demands deep understanding of human psychology and social dynamics. Effective CTAs bridge the gap between idealism and pragmatism in ways that fuel enduring movements. From leveraging cognitive triggers to designing multi-layered engagement paths, every element contributes to cultivating committed activists who shape tomorrow's world. As we've explored, successful CTAs blend emotional resonance with intellectual substance, creating lasting impact through thoughtful design.